Hello Facebook Live land, my name is Benjamin Zane, the Senior Transportation Reporter here at Business Insider, and we've got something really special for you. I know we say that a lot, but I really mean it this time because we're here with the brand new Bugatti Chiron. And that's right, it's this time of the decade that we have a brand new Bugatti. After all, this is a company that does one new car roughly every 10 years, and this is it for this decade. In case you're wondering, it is $3 million. It is by far the most expensive car we have ever had at Business Insider. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to add it to the comment section. We will do our best to answer them. And yeah, here it is, the Bugatti Chiron. As far as the name goes, it's named after a French racing driver named Louis Chiron. It's not Chiron, it's not Chiron, it's Chiron. And this is the successor to the iconic Bugatti Veyron. And this is just as fast, and if not, actually, really, it's faster. Again, we're actually here at the Bugatti showroom at Miller Motor Cars, and we're getting a chance to check it out before deliveries start. For those of you who actually did order a Bugatti Chiron in the US, they will begin deliveries in August. Here it is. This is the car. So we're going to start up front. We're going to show you a little bit about what this car is going to look like, the design, the technology, and at one point we are going to hear the engine because I know that's what people want. Starting up front, this is classic Bugatti. Ettore Bugatti, the guy who founded the company, of course, the Bugatti name, was really into horses, and of course, everything is trademarked with the Bugatti horseshoe. And so, as with this car, here it is. And something special here, the Bugatti logo is actually solid silver. It's three-dimensional, it's not flat, it's this beautifully designed silver logo. Look at that, it's wonderful. Of course, it's finishing out the face up front. It's got 8 LED headlights. For illumination, for design, it looks menacing, it looks cool, it looks like something from Gran Turismo. It's sort of bringing classic Bugatti aesthetic into the 21st century, into modernity, if you will. And you'll see as you go along this car, it is just a perfect balance of modern design and classic features that is exactly what you would expect from a car like this. A little bit of tech specs on this car. It's powered by an 8-liter quad-turbo W16 engine. Total horsepower, 1,500 ponies. 1,500 horsepower in a 4,000-pound car. Put that in perspective. In a Lamborghini Aventador S, an immensely powerful supercar. You're going to see more about that car on Business Insider in the coming weeks, by the way. Well, that car is about the same weight, but that car only has half the horsepower of this thing. And the reason it needs that power is because the Bugatti Chiron has a top speed of more than 260 miles per hour. And it's limited to 260 miles per hour because if they really wanted to let this loose, we don't really know how fast it can go. I wouldn't be shocked if this thing gets 300. But let's take a step back. Let's move towards the back of the car.
Before we go on, someone asked the question, how many of these are being made?
So over a period of 10 years, Bugatti is going to make 500 cars. Where a year in, they've sold more than half of the 500 already. So if you're thinking about it, do it now. Because it's going to be sold out and it's going to be much more expensive than $3 million if you're going to have to go and get it at auction. That's just the truth. Sorry. But if you want to step back more a little bit about the design, here you have this really beautiful Bugatti curve, and the curve is sort of reminiscent of Ettore Bugatti's signature, which is a very beautiful curvy signature. It's wonderful, and they've incorporated it into the design of the car. If you're going to move back further with me real quick, let's take a look at these tires. I know, it's boring, but trust me, this is cool for this car. Of course, these wheels are 21 inches in the back, 20 inches up front. This is a specially developed tire by Michelin just for Bugatti. And the only reason for this is because Michelin has experience developing tires for fighter jets. And they needed a tire that can withstand up to 300 miles per hour, and this tire can. And of course, the brakes are massive carbon ceramics. Stopping power is incredible. Unfortunately, due to weather, we weren't able to drive it today, but we will be able to drive it tomorrow. Hopefully it will be sunny, and watch out for that coverage on Business Insider in the next couple of weeks. But as we move to the back of the car, here's where stuff gets really cool and interesting. So the rear lights are this looks like what looks to be a continuous strip of LED. It's actually 84 separate LEDs integrated into one. And it looks really just incredible, especially when it's dark at night and all you just see is one single strip of light that pulls away into the distance. And of course, here's the spoiler of the car. It is actually, it doubles as an air dam as well. But what that covers up is this. This is the engine. This is the 8-liter W16 engine. Again, it's 1,500 horsepower. Now, 10 years ago, when its predecessor, the Veyron, debuted, it debuted with 1,001 horsepower, and that was mind-blowing. But now, this is at 1,500. But again, if you have any questions, please feel free to add it in the comment section. We will do our best to answer it. But a little bit more about the history of this car. It is, one of the truly special vehicles in this world. Of course, you hear about hypercars. You hear about the Porsche 918. You hear about the McLaren P1. You hear about the LaFerrari. Those are essentially race cars for the road, and this isn't it. We had a chance to sit down with the guy who designed it last year, and he was very, very clear that this isn't a race car. This is a GT car. It's a hyper cruiser, if you will. In his words, this car should be as easy to drive at 250 miles per hour as it is to drive a Volkswagen on the highway. And that is why the engineering in this car is so, so different. I mean, if you want to take a closer look at this, this is the massive carbon ceramic brakes. Look at this thing. It's big. It's heavy. It is absolutely massive, because that's what you need to get this car stopped. For instance, here's the turbocharger from the Chiron. Here's one of 4 turbos. Here's the turbocharger, comparatively smaller turbocharger from the predecessor, the 1,000 horsepower Veyron. So both Bugattis. This one is much bigger. It's part of a 2-stage turbocharging system. It allows a much more linear power delivery and just non-stop torque. A little bit more over here. Check this out. We're going to take a look at the interior of the car in a little bit, but I want to show you the steering wheel. It's big, it's heavy, it's beautifully ornate. And of course, this metal, it's machined out of a single piece of aluminum. And of course, you have Alcantara here and stitched leather here. And of course, you have the engine start-stop button, you have launch control, and you have a drive mode selector here as well. But let's go inside here real quick. Look at that. Okay, so this car has been used for test drives so far, and there's a little bit of dirt on the ground, but overall the interior is absolutely stunning. I'm going to go on the other side to see if there's any way I'm going to explain it to you here. Hello, hi, we meet again. So, this is the interior of the Bugatti Chiron. It is beautiful, it is ornate, and it's just like the rest of the other car. It is gorgeously designed. Here is a light bar. It is a continuous light bar along the center keel of the car, and it sort of matches up with the curve that's along the side of the car as well. Of course, these seats are stitched leather sport seats. The transmission handle in the middle is attached to a 7-speed twin clutch gearbox, and of course that is bespoke to this car. Coming around, if you want to swing around, sorry for the delay guys, we're gonna walk around. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to add it to the comment section. We will do our best to answer it, sorry. But stepping into the driver's section, to really fully unleash the car, you actually need to use a second key, and that is here. This is the key. So the other key takes you up to about 380 kilometers an hour. This unleashes the full potential of the car, and you, of course, plug it in here, and that unleashes the rest of the horsepower. Now, if you want to step into the driver's seat, I'm going to... Okay, of course, we are back with this beautiful steering wheel, and this car has carbon fiber accents, which is absolutely stunning. In front of you is an analog and digital instrument cluster. In the middle, of course, that is 300 miles per hour. Just a little reminder, that's one of the reasons why they didn't get full digital, because they want you to be able to look through the window and notice you have a 300 mile per hour speedometer. On the side, you have the TAC, you have sort of the infotainment functions. This is one of the rare cars these days without a dedicated infotainment screen, but the infotainment screen would have screwed up the looks of the car, and honestly, who cares? But in the middle, you do have HVAC controls. It's beautifully machined. If you look at the materials in this car, if it looks like carbon fiber, it's carbon fiber. If it looks like metal, it's machined or cast out of a single piece. If it's leather, it is from one of the finest cows in Europe. And of course, this whole car, even though it is not exactly light, it's all about lightweight, believe it or not. It's 4,000 pounds, but if you have this much mass going this fast, you need to control weight somehow, and they have. Everything here is carbon fiber. The body shell is carbon fiber. The chassis is carbon fiber. Only the crumple zones in the front and back are aluminum. Oh yeah, before I let you go, check out the speakers. There are a series of speakers planted around the car, and inside each one of them has an individual diamond. That there's 2 tweeters up front. There's a couple of speakers behind your back as well. The diamond, it's to, of course, control the quality of the sound. They're not trying to be excessive. They're not trying to be over the top. It's actually there for a reason. Yeah, again, this is your live on Business Insider with the brand new Bugatti Chiron. It's a $3 million hypercar / hyper GT car from Bugatti. They do one car per decade, and this is it. It's powered by an 8-liter, 1,500 horsepower W16 engine. It's of course exposed because of heating, because of just incredible heat. They don't put a hood on it. They leave it out in the open out back. And here it is, right? W16, 16 cylinders in a W shape. It's exclusive to the Volkswagen group, but it's 1,500 horsepower. This car generates so much heat that it has 10 radiators just to dissipate heat. I mean, everything about this car is just massive numbers. Think about it this way. At full speed, at 260 miles per hour, this car will drain its fuel tank in 9 minutes. I talked to one of the engineers earlier today, and he was talking about the coolant pump. The coolant pump in this car will fill your bathtub at home in 11 seconds. That's how much air, like everything about this thing is just massive numbers. And of course, I just remembered, it has a frunk, right? Because if you're gonna go and have a fun little weekend, you need to be able to, you need to at least carry a little something, right? And here it is. See? It's practical. And of course, it's one of 500 from Bugatti. Now, before you go, I know people want to fire it up and see if we can get folks at Bugatti to fire up the car for us. All right, folks. We're gonna get Bugatti to fire up the car for us real quick. Trust me, this is unlike anything you have ever seen. That is 8-liter W6. Thank you so much for joining us, and this is the $3 million Bugatti Chiron. You guys have a great weekend.